Guess who's back? Woo! First podcast for 2025. Sorry for the lack of podcasts. I did have the wind knocked out of me thanks to gremlins in the system. I've got a whole new setup now, and hopefully this goes smoothly. First one to break in, pop my return podcast cherry. Toy Saints, Sydney band. They came at number 6 in the Pointies with their song You Would Know. They are currently in the middle of touring their Colour of the Week EP and decided to have a chat. So I really do hope you appreciate and enjoy this chat with Toy Saints. Ladies and gentlemen, people of all sorts. Dig this one. It's all good. They'll ring back. Well done on the EP. Okay, so Colour of the Week, man. It is from when I started listening to You Would Know, which congrats on the number 6 in the Pointies this year.
Yes.
It grabbed me because it wasn't just your standard alt rock for me, okay? There is a lot of other elements, and I did mention shoegaze and that, and I name dropped Biffy Clyro to whoever it was I was speaking to. Ethan, was I talking to you? Yep, about Biffy Clyro?
Yeah.
And you'd never heard of him?
I hadn't heard of them. No, I hadn't. But we listened to a little bit, and it was really cool.
Do you get the reference that I'm like? Because you guys have this quirkiness that sort of comes in your writing, and that's what one of the things that really sort of, it's not your standard writing. Like Biffy Clyro, they add like different time signatures into it, but also they pull in a pre-chorus out of nowhere where you wouldn't expect them to stick in a pre-chorus. It's just something else. Like that's why I liked You Would Know that. It interrupts the momentum of the song so good that it becomes a hook in its own right.
Yeah.
And that's what grabbed me the first time. And you guys do that a little bit in your songwriting, like in the other tracks on there. I think Money Into Worth is another one that you muck around with too. So what goes through your head when you're writing these songs?
It's actually really instinctive, for me at least. I feel like the structure side of things where you say like it comes in a little bit unexpected, like that's just my taste coming through. That's our taste coming through. So like the song You Would Know, we've all collaborated on pretty much all the songs, but that one was kind of the first one I wrote in my bedroom. And yeah, it was just instinctive. I didn't have to look too far to find that. And I don't really know how to explain why, but I guess I just like moments and I like things that grab your attention. So when I was writing that song and getting the final things in tune, it was just all about how can we have the audience's attention for as long as possible. So I feel like that answers your question. Like our main source of inspiration with our songs is impact, and long-lasting impact. You know, some bands, everyone does things differently. I don't know what's right or wrong anymore, but
there really isn't.
An album and nothing's right. Yeah.
Nah.
You listen to an album that comes out and it's kind of like one elongated song and it's one vibe throughout, and that's cool. But like we've kind of cursed ourselves in a way where like our writing has to be really detailed, but also still kind of sit in that absorbable lane where you're listening to it and you're still absorbing it, but it's also still keeping you on your toes. So I think for us, it's just a balancing act. Inspiration is a balancing act of chaos and also just something that sticks.
Like I think it's Ego Death. I think I mentioned that in the review where I expected the guitars to go a hell of a lot heavier, like thicker in the fuzz element, and then you just kept that restraint throughout the entire thing. And that's one thing I really like, that you sort of edged people into this song. You're expecting this thing to happen and it doesn't, and it's a very punkish kind of attitude.
Yeah.
So how's something like
because Lachlan Mitchell, our producer, when we were in the studio, and I'm sure you remember this, like the first time he mixed it, he chucked guitars in that we didn't want in, that made it heavier. So it was like when you got to the chorus, it was heavy as shit. But I think we always tend to go big, and I think with that song we just really wanted to pull it back a little bit. Well, what do you think?
Well, yeah, that song in particular is such a spin out, with that whole breakdown section. And
Oh,
sorry,
he's good.
gotta get
Yeah,
closer. Um, Having that whole breakdown section, and I think it's sort of almost refreshing to not fully commit to
yeah.
making it heavy. Like the other day, we were even talking about um, we make heavy ish music, but none of it by definition is metal.
No.
So by doing things like not committing to super heavy guitars when in some cases they're, listeners might expect that. I think that's one of the interesting things that we can do that ultimately makes it sound fresh and
Mm.
exciting, hopefully.
But that is still, in its own regard, is element of heaviness to it without having to go
Absolutely,
wall of
yeah.
guitar, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands that actually can achieve this sense of heaviness and weight without just throwing a shit ton of guitar and fuzz into it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Even like Fox Tattoo, the EP closer, um, how you just lulled everyone in, and all of a sudden at halfway mark, it just you unleash, but it's still not insane. It's
Yeah.
actually a bit of a relief at the end, I guess.
Yeah. Awesome. That was the intention for it. A bit of a relief, but also leave you where you were kind of previously
Yeah.
by the
Mm.
end of it.
So you guys have been together for about 10 years, is that right?
The core of us have. So
Yeah.
me and DB, who's the drummer, we've been together for 11 years. But a lot of this, like some of the songs that we play were formed like 8 years ago.
Okay.
So I guess we're still playing from that long ago. Um, Pero, Peta, and Rory, they sound like three different people. Sorry.
Yeah.
Pero and Rory, they came in a little bit later,
Mm.
kind of changing members here and there. But yeah, definitely at our final form now. I feel like if anyone else was to drop off, like it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But still, like
Um,
the Toy Saints came to life. What, for judging from your socials in 2021? Is that right?
yeah. Well, some of the posts we archived and then unarchived from Elliott Road just because it looked good. So
Okay. Yeah. Fair
it Toy
enough.
Saints really only happened last
Last
year,
year, yeah.
Right.
which
Okay.
is crazy.
That
Yeah.
completely nullifies what I was going to ask you about, because it said, well, why did it take you like 3 to 4 years basically to pull something out?
Oh yeah. No, it's because we scratched everything and that's why we took it all
Mm-hmm.
down. A lot of the songs that we recorded back in the day, it's not that they were bad songs, but like, we were still like 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
My voice still hadn't dropped properly and like I listened back and it's just like a child, which is all right, but yeah, unfortunately we just had to strip it all down again, because we were so young. There were things that we look back at now and that we just wanted to get right.
Mm.
Which we're still working on. We're still not
Yeah,
getting everything we want right.
absolutely.
But yeah, it's kind of just, yeah, even though it was 2021, that was just sort of a bit of a cheat to make us look a little bit better.
Well played. Got me fooled.
Yeah, it did. It plan worked.
Like
There's always
I'm
like,
in my mid 40s, and like when I'm recording vocals, my voice still breaks, so it never goes away basically.
yeah, no, this was, trust me, you don't want to hear this. This wasn't
I
this
kind
wasn't just
I
a
kind of
voice
do.
break. Yeah, I think it's online somewhere, but
It would be. It
I don't
would
want
be.
to. Yeah, I'll tell you in private.
Just to see the basic sort of progression of the band. So I always find that kind of shit interesting, seeing where they've come from
Yeah,
and where they are starting now. There's some bands that I've known on have basically had the same members, had name changes probably about 3 or 4 times, because they've mixed, like you guys have mixed in a couple of different members and that, and just watching where they started and where they ended up, and I wouldn't have picked it sometimes.
yeah.
It's pretty
You
wild.
wouldn't. It's the same thing.
Mm.
Some of our songs are just so different, but we just had to try that to know what suited us
Yeah.
stylistically.
So where did you guys? I hate asking these questions, like where do you draw your influences from? But I can't pick it with you guys. It's just
Dude, there's no influence. I don't know either. It's all instinctive and it's all
Individual
it's
as well.
yeah,
yeah.
everyone does their thing. But it's all feeling. I feel like I
Mm,
chase a feeling, like the feeling that I get when I'm listening to a song in a car. That's what we chase.
yep.
Like if it doesn't have that, it doesn't matter if it's consistent. Like it doesn't matter if there's not another you would know on the track list. Like if we can't make it
Yep.
work to the most purest enjoyment that we experience as listeners, all four of us, then
Mm.
it's just not going anywhere. So I don't think there's any real um inspirations, which kind of makes it difficult because like we don't get a lot of support
Huh.
um
Okay.
from mainstream media or radio stations because I don't think they know how to
They
box us
they
in,
look at it,
it's
pigeonhole
like,
you into something. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
how can we sell these guys? I've got no idea. Let's not try,
Yeah.
and maybe they just don't like the music. That's fine too. But like that's honestly how I feel. Like I just if I feel like it's very easy to put a label on things now, and if you don't fit into
Mm.
something that's easily identifiable, it kind of doesn't matter until you've already made it, So we're just trying to make whatever this is happen before people start to, draw influences because we don't really know what they are. Like I used to listen to Green Day and Smashing Pumpkins religiously, and I don't even think that really pokes through that much.
Oh, a bit of old Smashing Pumpkins, a little bit. Yeah, I would say like
Yeah, well,
some
that
Gish and
yeah,
that.
that was our biggest inspo, like when we were really getting serious.
Mm.
So
There's
yeah. What do you think that was for any specific influences?
I think it's an individual,
yeah.
from all of our songwriting perspectives. But like as Ethan said, I think we're all just chasing a feeling. We're all constantly trying to give each other goosebumps, and just yeah, feeling the music as much as possible.
Mm.
Heaps of voice memos, heaps of jams. That's how a
So
lot of
much
them.
work.
So much work.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
ridiculous.
you've nailed it
But
because I'm always on about chasing that goosebump moment, and like I've said this in the Pointies, and I've said this in other sort of reviews, and that that is one of the key things I look for in particular
yeah,
songs, and that's why I will review them if they've affected me in that kind of way. It's the
Yeah.
emotional sort of connection that you develop with a song. One listen
Yeah.
won't happen, but sometimes magically it will, and I'm pretty sure you would know did do that because of that little
Fuck yeah.
unexpected little bit that comes in.
Yeah. That one was the best. I think that song came together
Mm.
effortlessly. So we're keen to explore that a little bit.
mm,
A lot of the other ones we kind of had to forge things and really like
Yeah, but
break it
I
down.
would be careful doing that. You know how you were saying you're worried about being like pigeonholed or people not knowing how to actually market you. I mean, sometimes you'll see a band and they'll get big from a one particular single, and then you go have a look at their album, and none of the songs on there sound exactly like that single, and
Yeah.
it's been
that's true.
Yeah.
pushed. That particular single, it might have even been a remix that got famous, and then you go and get
Yeah.
in that band, and it's not what you expected. Sometimes that comes to a benefit because you go, oh shit, I wasn't expecting that. I actually like this better now.
Absolutely.
It's hard to
Yeah.
say. I mean, I would have picked Ego Death as something to sort of box you in into something for your sound if you're looking for a kind of sound or Money Into Worth.
I can see that. They're probably a lot more individualistic than you would know.
Mm,
I You would know is probably the one that from the birth of that song to it being recorded at the studio changed the least.
yeah.
Um, some of the other ones, like Ego, for example, went through a lot of workshopping, a lot of different iterations, a lot of arguments. Um, but you would know. I think that's sort of why we all unanimously agreed for it to be the first single.
Okay.
Was just no, just it was just smooth.
Yeah, it was smooth
There was
out.
no arguing around that one.
So, okay. Who is the one metalhead in the band? There's always one. There's always one person that is basically a metalhead or a secret metalhead.
We all
It's
kind of like metal.
Yeah. Like I reckon it's so yeah, it's splashed out. Like our bassist Rory, she used to be in a prog metal band
Cool.
before she joined ours.
That counts.
Um, but I think that kind of scarred her a little bit. Like some of the intensity of it all, and
Yeah.
she was
That's
she was
just
young as
band
well.
life for you, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I think we've all got it within us. Like deep down, but honestly, none of us really like religiously listen to metal.
Yeah. I went through a period of maybe 2 years where all I listened to was Tool.
I still
Um,
haven't outgrown that, dude. So that's
yeah.
No, either have I. We were trying to cover
Enema, yeah.
Enema for the tour, but we just didn't have enough time to wrap it up.
I would have
it's a
loved to
tricky
do
one,
that.
man. I used to do a in a because I've played in multiple bands. Clearly, I've mentioned this heaps of times to other interviewees. There was a reggae funk band that I was in, and we did a dub version of 46 and 2.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
It's actually up on YouTube. If you put in Kindred 46 and 2, it'll come up. And we took it on tour with us. We went over to the UK and we snuck it into our sets over in the UK there, and people just lost their fucking mind. It was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
badass.
That's what we were hoping for. We're hoping that we would spark like a couple of people in the audience and be like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
yes!"
It's not an easy one to do a Tool cover, man. And if you're gonna do one, don't do a generic like Sober or Stinkfist or something like that. Do,
Yeah.
No way.
absolutely.
We could do it. We could definitely do it.
On them as a mission though.
Yeah, we had some really good ideas. Maybe not the best listening experience to explain them, but we have some really good ideas for it. So we'll bring it out one day and
Your drummer's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, he was the one. He was the reason we couldn't do it because we gave him like a week.
Yeah.
We're like, "Hey Daniel, do this in a week." He's like, "No, thank you."
No. All right, so you guys are actually this is the first tour that you've actually done as Toy Saints, and
Absolutely.
you've just conquered Southeast Queensland last weekend. How'd you find it up this way? You go all right?
It was sorry, yeah. It was beautiful. We have we've all lived in New South Wales our whole lives, so we have virtually no fan base up there, but people pulled through.
Don't say that.
People pulled through. Other bands brought people. It was a lot of fun. Just getting a glimpse of that lifestyle of just moving to different cities and seeing different musical communities as well. Like some of the bands that we played with, there'd be a member across like two different bands,
Yep.
and just clearly seeing that it's like a tight-knit community was really cool. Definitely culturally different. The band scene
Yeah.
was really refreshing to see.
Yeah, Brisbane's
I think that we
Brisbane's
all-
an interesting one for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we all mutually agree that for some reason, like the bands were really approachable in Queensland and a lot more approachable. I don't know if that's just because we're in the thick of it in Sydney, where it's kind of like we go to a venue and you can expect to see everyone that you can expect to see there, sort
Yeah.
of thing. Whereas here, like there was just so much positivity around from the support bands, and also I feel like all the bands that we got on really tried.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that I don't know why, but I feel like it's more rare to see bands that come on stage and you can clearly see how much time they've put into like the little details of their songs and the set flow and stuff like that. It sounds like really basic, but it's something that we all appreciated about
It makes a
the
difference.
bands that we played with in Queensland. It's just attention to detail
Yeah.
and actual care about the music,
Yeah,
It
because
didn't take them
you
to
played
look
with
like they came out of a time capsule to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
And,
you played
know,
with Happy
like,
Valley, didn't you?
yeah, they were cool.
Yeah.
They were really cool. Yeah. But
That's
also the band that supported them, Sparrow,
Yeah, they're good.
they're great.
Yep.
They're onto good things.
They're pretty fiery,
They
but
really they were good with us. They were a great pairing.
How'd you find the
Everyone's
small
just
stage
like-
on the precinct?
It was so beautiful. It was
was
such a beautiful room.
It's
good.
as if we were traveled to like a venue in the inner west of Sydney. It
Yeah.
was like really really
It was
random,
gorgeous.
but it was awesome.
It's kind of
We
like
didn't
a
have our
smaller
best night
version of
there.
Lazy Bones, if you've been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. It definitely had Lazy Bones vibes.
It was a really good venue.
That was random in the background.
Now that's our drummer.
Oh,
dude.
it is.
It was
Oh.
a little sunbake.
So now, hey, you got to learn that
Hey.
Tool song.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess I have to.
you have to now, man.
Give me 6 months, I'll learn.
Um,
Give him 10,000 days, he'll learn it.
oh, get the pot happening.
All right, stop.
And so now you guys are on your way back to hometown for a few days. You got what, Newcastle and a couple of Sydney shows, and then you're down to Melbourne, right?
We've only got one Sydney show.
Oh.
We got Newcastle for the first time. And yeah, we're playing Sydney on Saturday, and then we're having a little break in Melbourne.
Melbourne's good. Melbourne's fun.
Yeah.
If you liked Brisbane, then yeah, Melbourne's basically on par.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Melbourne are you playing though?
So we'll be playing at the Purser Room in Fitzroy
All right.
on the Friday,
Yep.
28th of February. And then on the Sunday, we'll be doing like a little afternoon show at the Luli's Tavern, 2nd of March. And we're actually going to swap. We have a band called the Ivy Walkers, and they're going to headline that joint.
Good move.
And we're just going to pop in for them.
Yeah.
And they were nice enough. Actually, I won't get into the fee details, but we got sorted out in Melbourne. There's less risk involved there. The venues are really nice and responsive, so we're really excited for that.
Yeah, Fitzroy's has a pretty solid strip down there. I mean, I haven't played down there in 5 years now, I think. Well, but the last time I was there was Fitzroy. I'm playing bar open and that sort of stuff down that way, so it's always good.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're getting into. Like the rest of this tour, it's just like we just kind of signed without looking. Yeah, we'll fucking love to play your venue. And it's just been, yeah, it's crazy. But it's what it is.
Are you driving down or are you flying?
Yeah, we're driving.
Driving.
Yeah, we've been driving this whole time.
Yeah.
You want to have, what's the van?
Yeah. Kia Carnival.
Yeah,
Beautiful
That's
car.
the standard band
Yes,
travel.
I love it. I fucking love that thing.
Yeah, she's solid. No issues whatsoever. We had a little oil light. Oh look, it's raining for the first time. Beautiful. We had a little oil light come on literally as we were about to leave Sydney. I called my mechanic and he was like,
"Don't worry about it.
Probably a sensor." It was a sensor. No worries.
Because
great vehicle.
I did the same thing. We had to hire a Kia Carnival. This is for a 6-piece reggae band. We managed to fit everyone into this fucking vehicle.
Wow.
And we're going from the Sunshine Coast down into the Central Coast, basically New South Wales, and we had to drive this Kia Carnival, but it was an older one. And they forgot to tell us that the red light, the oil sensor light comes on, and we were sort of like stuck on the side of the road calling up the hire place and go, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, don't just ignore that." I went, cool. Something that would have been helpful without us freaking out. But yeah, sweet.
Extremely helpful.
Kia Carnivals, they had the red light appearing all the time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, our one's one of the older ones as well.
Yeah. Does it feel like it's floating?
It's so smooth.
Yeah, good.
If that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Do you mean like
no, in a bad way.
Oh no,
Oh,
no,
no.
I love it. I have very low bar for vehicle transport, so it's all good.
That comes in handy when you got to slub it, basically, when you're touring,
Yeah.
setting the bar low.
Seriously, yeah. I hope the rain doesn't get too loud, by the way. Let us know if it does.
Well, you just had a coffee machine here go off, so I think it'll be all right.
Okay.
The one thing I noticed, and I'm a little bit jealous about this, because you actually got to support one of my favorite bands of all time. You got to support She Had.
Yes.
All right, do tell.
It was so good.
Yeah.
That was an awesome gig. Yeah.
So someone we were working with at the time, who was sort of like a standby manager. He was so great and awesome. We would like to be with him or work with him again. But he got us the gig just from like sheer kind of like mateship with the Crowbar, and also I actually don't really know
With the
bands. Yeah, he played with She Had.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it was so good. We played at Crowbar Sydney. They sold out the whole room,
Of course they
and the music was just feral. Like it was so good.
I just energized from that fucking band every time I see them.
There was pure energy. The crowd loved it as well when we were playing.
Good.
We had to do the double drum setup.
Yep.
So we
Squished
basically
in the
looked
front.
like the Beatles.
Yep.
Beatles lined up.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But yeah, we didn't really get to meet them or talk to them too much or anything. Like they were doing their thing.
They're like techs. Their techies were fun.
Yeah, the
They
techies were
the
great.
drum tech. He was a real joker.
Yeah,
Nice dude.
but it was probably one of the bigger gigs that we've played. Thoroughly recommend anyone goes and sees that band. They're on tour now.
Because it's their last. It is their last tour that they're ever doing. So yeah, they would.
Really?
Yep. They're calling it a day. So if you
Should have
missed
got
out,
us back on.
if you missed out and down your way, I think they finished the New South Wales run. Yeah, it sucks to be you because yeah, she had a great. First time I saw him, believe this was supporting Tool.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
There you go.
in 1997.
Good matchup.
Yeah,
Wow,
Good match.
would have been amazing.
they were touring the Home Again album. So yeah, that was their first major album that they released, and I'd never heard of them in my life. And then they opened for Tool, and I was watching, just going, "Okay, I'm a fan. These guys are insane."
Impact. See?
Yep.
Yeah.
We got to wrap this up, but I've got one more question for you. Your favorite color is the day of the week. What the fuck is that lyric? Please explain.
I'll explain this. I feel like I've been yapping.
Please.
So the line doesn't have as much meaning as it does representation for the theme of the song. So I a lot of the time when I'm working or I'm a little bit out of it or the day's over, like I feel a little bit incompetent, and that's kind of what the song goes in about, just like feeling like maybe you're a little bit less or you just don't know the things that you should. And that last line is just embracing the absurdity of that statement and sort of just owning it, and preaching it as loud as you want, sort of saying like, we don't have to have these expectations for ourselves all the time. So, favorite color being the day of the week is just embracing the absurdity of the line, but also it does have a little bit of meaning towards like, because our moods fluctuate so much. I represent like the color as the emotion, and it kind of resembles like that is forever changing, like your favorite color or like the way you feel, that is forever changing. So I'm kind of leaving the answer up to my circumstance. I don't know if that made any sense.
Wow, that was good.
That's a lot fucking deeper than what I expected.
Well, lyrics are very important to us.
Yeah.
So I'm always ready for these questions.
I'm actually not
But
a lyrics person, so for me to grab that, it's just look, most bands I'm in, I don't know the lyrics to the songs. I always get them wrong. So something like that stands out. I need to know why. It's the ADHD in me, basically. I need to know what the fuck is that about? Like, what's that supposed to mean?
Yeah. Well, I hope that sticks.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try and write it out. I'll text you like a more direct thing when it comes to me. But that's kind of the gist of it.
Sick.
Every lyric of ours has that level of detail, by the way. If you're wondering.
Spiral in, spiral out.
Lock in.
All right, Toy Saints, you guys have been amazing. I'm going to call it on this one. Good luck with the rest of the tour, and well done that EP. Like I said, it's a great EP, and it's for those that haven't heard Color of the Week yet, you need to. Standouts, obviously you would know, but yeah, Ego Death, I like that song. Thanks for doing this, guys. I'll have a quick debrief with you before their time runs out. Everyone else, adios.
Ciao. Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Well, that went relatively smoothly. A couple of little things I had to edit out because of gremlins, but it's good to be back. Big thanks to Toy Saints for jumping in. Do check out Cover the Week EP so you know what we're on about and understand the lyrics to my favorite color is the day of the week now, which got a little bit deep. Thanks, Ethan. Yeah, I actually have more podcasts coming, believe it or not, and I promise they are coming because I got this sorted out. Thank you for sticking in there with me. Thank you for supporting local music, live music, Australian music, all sorts of music. You guys are legends. It's good to be back. Bye.